It is time to bring it all together, because after months of planning, preparations, and productions, today we'll be able to automate what I consider to be the most difficult space elevator part in the game, the thermal propulsion rockets. So hello everyone, I'm ImKibitz and welcome back to Satisfactory, where yes, we're making the thermal propulsion rockets today, and yes, I do consider them to be the most difficult part in the video game. They are insane, just with the amount of productions you have to have set up. For example, one of the pieces is a turbo motor. It needs like pressure conversion cubes, hundreds of motors, nitrogen gas, and more. And that's just one of the parts. Cooling systems need heat sinks, more nitrogen gas, which is hard to get, fused modular frames, a nightmare we already have dealt with, which we had to build this entire monstrosity for. Oh, and then the last thing is modular engines, which are simple to make, quote unquote. However, they take up an insane amount of iron. And that's if you just want to automate one of these bad boys per minute. But of course, we're gonna be doing a little more than that. Which is why I kind of went crazy in the last episode trying to cram all the machines we could in here, so we'd have just enough space left to finish up the automations that we need to. And it is going to still be very, very close. Good news though, Past Kibs has our back, and we actually have some of the mission critical parts already automated, like the fused modular frames we're gonna need, and also the pressure conversion cubes. Oh, and the nitrogen gas canisters are done too, and we got the cooling systems automated as well. So that just leaves us with a handful of things. We are going to need 1,000,000 motors for the modular engines. Then we have to automate the modular engines themselves. All we need for the turbo motors are more motors and 1,000,000 stators, because we're just gonna use that standard recipe there. And since we have the cube and the packaged nitrogen, we're fine. And then, yeah, the cooling systems and the fused modular frames are done. So you might be able to pick up what I'm putting down here. We need all of the motors in the world. In fact, we need 70 per minute, 7-0. And we are just gonna be using the standard recipe, I think. That just requires rotors and stators. But if we need 70 motors, 70 divided by 5 is 14. And 14 times 10 and 10 is 140 rotors and stators, which means we gotta have a ton of steel pipes and wire for each of these, which thankfully we were able to automate last time with all of these machines and a little bit of Caterium, which means we are off to production. And we are going to make all of those motors, stators, and rotors all in this space. We are going to make a tower of assemblers to fill up this rectangle? Square? Whatever. This shape, this space. And this is where I'm really hoping we have enough space, because we have a blueprint for these basic assemblers, which is super, super, super small. And we need to fit in, wait, how many assemblers in here? We need 70 motors. Let me check my notes. We need 83 assemblers. Okay, gotcha. So let's do some space planning and see if we can make this work. So we got 4 tiles across, that's the wall, then there's the wall over there. Our blueprint doesn't take up a lot of space, so hopefully we can fit like 10 assemblers per floor. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But then we have to leave some space just for some belt work, both on the right and left side. But if that's 5, then we can get 10 in here, because we can just fit them on these 2 tiles. And if that's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60? Uh-oh. Can we fit in any more floors here? Oh, what the heck? Look at all this space. Looking like 70. Okay, so we get 7 floors, 70 of these guys fit. But you know what? If we have to overclock, I'm gonna be a little greedy and do future Kibs a bit of a solid. We're only going to use 5 floors for all of the assemblers. Maybe 6 if I can like finagle space up there. TLDR though, I want to leave one of these floors completely empty, just nothing on it, because it's right beside this area. And in this area, I want to make all of the turbo motors and maybe the thermal propulsion rockets. And it'd be awesome if we could have an empty logistics floor right next door to handle all of the whatever that's gonna be happening here. So let me get rid of this, rebuild all of these, and then redo that as many times as I possibly can here. And it turns out that was a lot of assemblers. We have 6 floors of 10, meaning we have 60, and that is actually not enough assemblers. So we're gonna have to overclock, unfortunately, but it's not gonna be a lot of overclocking. Like on the top floor here, where we make motors, we just have to overclock to 140%. On the next 2 layers, we'll make the stators, and they'll be overclocked to 144. And then on the bottom 2 layers, the rotors will be overclocked to 132. But actually, on the middle floor here, we have to make both rotors and stators. So that's gonna be a little weird, but at the end of the day, it should be fine. The rotor recipe we're using is not that one, is this one, and it uses steel pipe and wire, and go figure, with the stator, it uses the exact same stuff. So if we just overflow everything, as it's kind of laid out to be, we should be fine. And Past Kibs was a genius for leaving this floor down here, because if we did not have a logistics floor, there's no way this would have worked. There's no way. First up, we have to bring all of the wire, which is like 3 massive belts, down this way. Now we have to bring up. Luckily, all of these lines are balanced. But wait, Past Kibs, what have you done? Why is this here? Why would I put this in this location? What is it doing? Oh wait, is this wire for the reinforced iron plates? It is. Wait a second, then how is this gonna work? You will have to go to here, and then it'll go all the way up to here? Is that what I wanna do? We have a splitter there. Yeah, part of it splits over into there, and then we go all the way up. Okay, that's actually great, because now we don't have to actually change any walls. And all the material will be on location. So that, there we go. There's our wire. Just have to remember that the middle belt is corrupted and weak, and we'll have to put that somewhere else. Where are all of my steel pipes? Just on the floor beneath, right? They will be right there. Why aren't they right there? We built this in the last episode. Where are the Piperunskis? There they are. I just forgot to connect a couple belts, it would seem. But why? Because I'm forgetful? Almost certainly. All right, is everything running now? Looking good, looking good, looking good. All right, excellent. Steel pipes are a go. We will just bring these straight through the floor then, why not? You're going to need all the space we can save here. But now comes the hard part. Actually sending all these materials upstairs. And I started to design something where we just have some wire go up through here, enter these machines, and then we just do the same thing all the way up, but we don't have a lot of space. This floor is copied 6 times, right? So all of the items on each floor have to enter right in this space. And then we have the items that are being produced that all need to make it to the top floor. So it's gonna be a little complicated. And oh my gosh, I've used every ounce of my brain power here, and now everything is mush. But I've connected it all together. It is not recommended to only leave yourself like 1 foundation of space for a project like this. That wasn't good. That wasn't a good one. Well, in fact, we didn't even have enough space. Like, these are floating in the air, but I digress. It got kind of weird. Where I started though was with the mergers. I was like, okay, let's just try and get the outputs dealt with, because that'll be easier, Kibs thought. And it kind of was. And we're able to merge everything, and we made this weird like ladder that goes all the way to the top floor where we can make the motors. So cool, done with the outputs. But then we lost an entire tile of space. So then things got even more squished when it came to doing everything else. So I tried to do the design that we had before, where we have all of the belts just going up through one tile. And then, unfortunately, I had to do something regrettable. We had to go from the end of this overflow line and then just go up a floor and then have that go into the next set of machines. And I did that every other floor, right? That's not a good idea though, because now the wire and the steel pipes have to overflow through 20 machines. So that's not gonna work very efficiently at all. But I don't have another option. We have no space we have no other ways about this, so here we are. Hopefully it all works out. In fact, we can actually test things right now because everything ends up at the top floor for the motors. And I have a nice little bin ready to go. Oh yeah, and I didn't even mention this problem with the steel pipes. We have 2 belts of steel pipes, and I needed them to go into 3 different systems. So I made a 2 to 3 belt load balancer here for all the steel pipes as well. But it all is set up, and yeah, it should work. I don't imagine there will be any problems. In fact, if there's gonna be a problem, it's gonna be with probably wire production or steel production. You know what? It's not gonna be up here, is what I'm trying to say. It's gonna be with the steel pipe and the wire not keeping up. Almost certainly. For now, let's just see how this all goes. Sure, it's fine, right? Actually, it's gonna take like 2 hours for this to all run. Again, overflowing through 20 machines, not a good idea. And it's gonna take forever for everything to load up. But what we can do, at least for the time being, is make sure that items are going to where they need to go. There's no weird glitches or problems. No, it looks good. Is anything reaching the end of the line here yet? Oh, yeah, I saw something. I think that was wire. Okay, that's good. And hey, we're getting products up to the top floor. This is also good. We're making motors. Fantastico. Let's go. 70 motors per minute. Gonna be automated. We'll be at that production rate in probably 3 hours, but hey, we made it. Oh, good. The easy part of today is done. Now to the hard part. Because this is step 1, the motors here. We still need modular engines, which is what all this is gonna be for, baby. So the modular engines again need all the motors, rubber, and smart plating. Okay, I say that this is gonna be a problem, and it's just gonna take a lot of time, really. It's not gonna be like a headache like this was, because we've already done a system just like this on the other side. We just have to scoop up all of the rubber, and then we need the smart plating, which I think I also made last time. All this here is making nothing. Why? Rotors. Oh. What? You're telling me, Kibbs, that after all of this, I have to send some rotors downstairs? How? There's no room for anything. What? I have no... No, I'm just not gonna do that. I'm gonna spend like 2 hours putting the beltwork here together. Okay, good. Yes, that relaxes the soul. What's happening here, by the way, is just all the items come up through 3 splitters right at the very bottom, and then are split down vertically into all of the manufacturers. Again, we did this a couple episodes ago when we were making the magnetic field generators, so I won't go into too much detail here. While I was redoing all this stuff, I had the fantastic idea to continue with the worst idea, which is continue the overflow stuff that we were doing before. So you know how the wire and the steel pipes were overflowing through 10 different systems? Well, I did the same thing with the rotors and stators. So after everything goes through here and makes all of the motors, everything will overflow and then go all the way over here and then down to the depths of the factory. Because fun fact, we need more stators for things too. But focusing on the rotors, I brought them all the way underneath the floor here because space was getting a little weird. Brought them over this way, up through the floor, and then over to the manufacturers here. And now we have smart plating. We have smart plating for days. All the smart plating we'll need. So the next order of business is actually quite simple. We just have to bring that, a little bit of rubar that is just on the belt here, and the motors together. And everything to these machines needs to be input right here. Not bad, right? Not bad at all. In fact, one of my favorite things is just deleting a wall and oh my gosh, look, it's the thing we need right there. Oh, you gotta love it, right? As for the motors, they're kind of still at like the top of Spaceland. So I guess we'll just bring them down the wall outside here And then what was the other thing we needed for modular engines? Yeah, the smart plating. Oh yeah, and that's just on the bottom floor. Yeah, perfect. That's actually not bad at all. Oh yeah, bud, you'll love it when a project is this simple. So just brought the motors down. Again, the rubber was right there. And then the smart plating was just 5 feet over. So let's connect it all up and watch the next system come to life as it goes through the beautiful song and dance belt work that I have created here. Nice. Look at it go. Splitting up to where it needs to be. No problems at all yet. Good. And this should make us 25 modular engines per minute. That is the plan. I actually overbuilt manufacturers for no reason. So each of these is underclocked, which is good. Saves us a little power because power is looking a little spooky. And that is that. And then output-wise, everything is gonna come together and go to this bin right in here, because this is our logistics store, our place of peace and prosperity, where we're going to have everything for the turbo motors and all the stuff for the thermal propulsion rockets. Because again, we want to make the thermal propulsion rockets like somewhere on this floor, probably right on the windowsill there. But first, I need to see them. I've actually never made the modular engines in this game. This is quite exciting. You know, in fact, this is the furthest I've ever gotten in this game. I've always had the game either crash or corrupt or some horrific, unrecoverable nuclear accident happens, but man, we're moving and grooving here. Just show me the engines. Yes, bud. Hello, my new friend. This looks sick. Gosh, okay. Next couple of things. Now that we have the modular engines, the turbo motors are the next order of business. We need 10 of them per minute. So we'll build like 3 manufacturers here, and I totally forgot what we need because a lot of this stuff is taking a lot of time. On the motors, yes, we got that. Conversion cubes, GGEZ, those are here, perfect. So we'll just drag them down and overflow them. And then packaged nitrogen is downstairs. In the stators, I just brought to a back wall over this way. They are right up there. Again, though, this is overflowing after the motor system, so not really a super efficient design. But again, we have run out of options with this project. There is no space, nowhere, so we're just making it work where we can. All right, and the packaged nitrogen, where did I leave that? Those are empty canisters. Is the packaged nitrogen just sitting over here? Yes. Hello, friends. I'd like to bring you uppies. And Houston, we do have uppies. The nitrogen has been brought up here. Everything has been overflow belted, as is everything else. And this should be pretty much good to go. A couple of these belts are empty though. Oh yes, because I haven't set them up because I want to wait to film and show you guys what's going on. So like I mentioned before, we're just overflowing some of the pressure conversion cubes from the drone port up there. And then, yeah, the nitrogen was already ready to go. Here come the motors, here come the stators, and that will be our turbo motors. Back in the day when I first started playing this game, turbo motors were the most complicated part in the entire video game. So this is my entire first playthrough done right here, right now. Except we still have to go one step further beyond. But first, of course, I need to see them. Where are they? Why did I make this a ridiculous belt? Stop! There we are. Hello, my beauties. Gotta take a second to admire things every so often. Okay, done admiring though. Back to work. Okay, last step. Go away, container. It is the thermal propulsion rockets themselves. It's time. We have just barely, like literally the exact amount of space we need for 4 fully overclocked manufacturers that are going to be making these space elevator parts. It has come down to the exact, not just the wire, the hair follicle, wait, which is thinner, I don't know. but we needed this exact amount of space right here, right now, in order to put these bad boys together. So modular engines, we're gonna have to scoop up. Turbo motors, cooling systems, and fused modular frames. And like with the turbo motors, we have fused modular frames ready to go right here. So that can just go along the roof over this way. The turbo motors are stacking up as we speak. The cooling systems we finished up the other day, and I have organized them into our little hub here. And there are the modular engines we just finished up. So everything come on down, let's bring it home. And with that now organized, cooling systems in, modular engines, fused modular frames, and finally, the turbo motors. All go into these 4 manufacturers to make 10 thermal propulsion rockets per minute. That's it. All of this, and most of that, is used to make 10 of these chunky bad boys per minute. Which, you know what, is pretty dang good considering they are easily the most complicated part to build in the entire game. So I am pretty pleased. Plus, at this point in the game, the frame rate in the game is actually running pretty decently well too. But it'll probably get a lot worse as we move on to our next project. But before then, I am certain there are going to be a million problems with this. So I'll let things run for a little while, and then as I do, I gotta finish decorating this build because I let it get very, very, very ugly. And now that everything's actually complete, I have nothing left to worry about, and we can finish it up. So floors remodeled, walls in, and decorations are complete. And things are looking amazing and walkable. But not everything's good. You see, there are a couple problems. Or actually, that's a bit of a lie. There weren't a couple of problems. There is only one. After all of this madness that we're throwing together today, there was only one problem that was causing issues. And that was, we had a throughput issue with rubber. That's it. And all things considered, that's a pretty easy problem to solve. All I ended up doing was adding in an extra freight car to bring rubber in over here. And now, that problem's solved, and everything is running perfectly. Which means thermal propulsion rockets are actually completed. And we are done 3 out of 4 of the space elevator parts. However, the last one, oh boy, it is still a doozy. But like usual, Mr. ImKibitz has a plan. However, though, that is going to be all for now, so I hope you guys enjoyed and thank you for watching, but have a fantastic rest of your day, and bye-bye.